Single Strike Lugia is one of the strongest decks in the Scarlet and Violet format, but that all could change with Paldea Evolved. A new build of Lugia has popped up utilizing several of the new colorless special energies and some new attackers we have not seen before in the deck. So today I'm going to be comparing Single Strike and Colorless Lugia, going over the pros and cons to each deck, and then I'll have you a sample list for both. Single Strike Lugia is much more tried and true with those Single Strike Urshifu, Tyranitar, Yveltal, Stonejourner, and all those other Single Strike friends. But the Colorless build is brand new, using some of the new special energies like Jet Energy, Therapeutic Energy, and Reversal Energy. So first, I would say that the Colorless build of Lugia gets the nod in those single prize matchups. Being able to use that Snorlax from Lost Origin very effectively now with the new Therapeutic Energy, we can put it on the Snorlax, and then the Snorlax that normally goes to sleep after it uses one attack cannot go to sleep because of the way Therapeutic Energy works. So this is just awesome against Lost Inbox because 150 is very chunky and it's immune to all effects. They can't use a Sableye to spread some damage on it. So very hard for Lost In to deal with 2 to 3 Snorlax per game, which is something that the Single Strike build obviously cannot accommodate unless it's going to be playing Therapeutic Energies, which isn't necessarily the most isn't the easiest card to fit. So I will give the nod to Colorless Lugia in those single prize matchups. Single Strike Lugia will, however, be hitting much more relevant weaknesses. The Colorless build is going to be attacking with things like Snorlax, Weirdeer, Lugia, VSTAR. All Colorless types aren't going to be hitting anything for weakness, but the Single Strike build has Dark attackers that can hit Gardevoir and Mew. It can use Tyranitar and Yveltal. Then it has fighting attackers like Stonejourner or Urshifu that can hit Arceus for weakness. So if you are expecting more Mew and Gardevoir decks, I definitely think it could be worthwhile to play a Tyranitar and Yveltal. And another big pro to the Single Strike build, and probably the biggest reason to play the deck right now in my opinion, is that the Single Strike build has a natural Duraludon answer. That Single Strike Urshifu VMAX with that one blow attack can hit through that Duraludon Skyscraper, and then the RC Duraludon player can't really do much because 330 HP, slapping them for 300 damage isn't really going to be a very good time for them. But the Colorless build can't really do anything. It can play Path to the Peak, but I just don't like playing Path in my Lugia decks because I want to be bouncing Path, not really sticking it in the active spot. There might be some synergy now with Iono in Lugia decks, like going for a late game Iono Path. But I want to get turn 2 Summoning Stars. I want to be consistent, and Path to the Peak is not going to be helping me get out of early game disruption. So I'm not currently playing Path. I'm going for a bit different of a win condition, which stay tuned for my Lugia list. It's going to be just a little bit later in this video. One of the biggest things Lugia has to look out for now is the new Luxray, which can be immediately played onto the bench if your opponent is behind on prizes. No fancy red candy or shinks needed here. We can slap the Luxray right down, and it can attack for a Lightning Colorless and do 180 damage or 360 because it hits weakness on Lugia. For just a single Reversal Energy, then it can one-shot a Lugia V-Star. I've seen quite a few different archetypes playing this, from Gardevoir to Lost Zone Box, to even other Lugia decks, and you'll see later that both of my Lugia builds currently are playing Luxray. Just think of all the times where you've gone second in the Lugia Mirror. Your opponent might take an early prize on a single prizer, but then it's hard for you to respond back right away on a Lugia. But it's much if you can slap down that Luxray, Primal Turbo or Reversal Energy on it, and then take the knockout on their own Lugia, you'll be ahead 2 prizes taken to 1. So I feel like it adds a lot of depth to that mirror match, but it's definitely something you have to look out for just overall, because it really makes you think, like, do I really want to be attacking with my Lugia on the second turn when my opponent is just going to be able to respond back with a Luxray? So another new card I'm playing in my Lugia decks is 2 Iono. I pretty much just slapped this in place of Judge in old lists because Iono, while it will be giving our opponents more cards in the early game, in the late game we have several 1 prizes we can throw at them, get them down to 5 prizes, and then slap down that Iono, put them to 1 or 2, and then put a big Pokemon like a Lugia or an Urshifu or something in the active spot. It'll be very hard for them to get through with very few cards to work with. So here's my current build of Single Strike Urshifu. This is very heavily influenced from some successful lists in the previous formats. The only new cards I added were Iono, Luxray, and Reversal Energy, and also Jet Energy, which I feel like is a big gain for the deck, because one of the biggest annoyances was those Mawile packages that popped up early, that they would gust up your Lumineon and then just lock it in place with that Mawile. So you have to play cards like Penny or Thornton to get around that. But now you have a natural fit with Jet Energy to get out of those annoying situations. So I had to cut down the Gift Energy and V-Guard Energy count to fit the Reversal and Jets, which I don't know how correct that will be, because like Gift Energy is good, but like I feel like Jet Energy might be just has more utility overall. But it'll be interesting just to mess around with those counts. I'm not necessarily a huge Mesa Goza fan myself, but a lot of the successful lists from last format were playing it. Just flipping coins is, I don't really like doing if I don't have to, but this is where I'm at with Single Strike Lugia. It's just pretty basic, and I think it's probably going to be just really good after Paldea Evolve comes out. And here's my colorless list. I'm going to address the elephant in the room, or a spider in this case, and that is the new Spiders from Paldea Evolve. You're probably wondering what the heck that does, so I got you. It lets you shuffle both players' active Pokemon back into their respective decks. So against Duraludon, if they have solo Duraludon against us, hoping to wall us out because we likely have no way to hit through it, we surprise them by going Thornton, Spidops, Reversal Energy, and shuffle their only Duraludon back into the deck, thus winning the game. So I thought, like, okay, if game 1 that works, because they go solo Duraludon, and then you Spidops it back into the deck, but what if game 2 they just go solo Duraludon, and just draw pass until you deck out, because you'll probably have less cards than them in all likelihood if you're the aggressor in the early games, try to put pressure on them. So that's why I'm playing one of the new Shaman from Crown Zenith. Also shuffle 2 energy cards from your discard pile back into your deck, which on the surface doesn't seem too good, but it can shuffle special energies back in. So we can shuffle back in reversal energies, gift energies, jet energies, all those good cards back into the deck. So our opponent can never deck us out, because we can just infinitely Shaman loop over and over again. We can retreat back into a Lugia, then retreat those energies back off, and Shaman once again, and keep shuffling them back into the deck. So we never deck out. So if they don't want to take prizes against us to avoid the Spidops play, that's fine, but they will always deck out before us. So I'm playing one Drapion in this build because we don't have the dark type attackers to deal with Mew VMAX, and Weird Ear is such an incredibly powerful card with this deck. It's not terribly practical to pull off, but we can just, if we have a ton of energies flooded in play, we can just retreat, load up that Weird Ear with the ability, and then just slap for big damage. It's going to be hard to pull off multiple of those in one game, but it is such an incredibly powerful attack to one-shot those Pokemon VSTARs and EXs. I'm playing a very similar supporter and item lineup to the previous deck. I'm just playing 2 Collapse Stadiums to be able to bump off our Lumineons, Drapions, or any other bad starters we may start with. There have definitely been lists in Japan that have played like 3 Snorlaxes, but I'm playing the Thornton like for that Spidops play, and the Thornton can also serve as basically a 3rd Snorlax if you need it. So this is where I'm at with Colorless Lugia. I'm pretty happy with the list right now. As I said before, I don't really want to be playing Path to the Peak, because then if my opponent, I'm against a deck that's playing Path, and they're going to like judge Path me, or I don't know Path me early in the game, those are just like 2 or 3 less cards I actually have to get out of that lock. That is only going to be useful in the Duraludon matchup. I know you're probably going to be saying like Spidops is probably only useful in the Duraludon matchup too, but it has utility in other matchups where like they just have one big attacker loaded up. You can shuffle back into the deck with Spidops. So it's not completely one-dimensional. It is definitely a target at Duraludon, but also could be good against like a Alolan Vulpix too. So I'm pretty happy with where Single Strike Lugia is right now. But what do you think? What build do you think is going to be more successful after Paldea Evolved? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if there are any other Paldea Evolved decks you'd like to see, also let me know. And I appreciate you guys for watching this far into the video. And if you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. Helps support me as a creator, so I appreciate that a lot. Paldea Evolved is such an awesome set with so many great new cards. It's truly one of the very best sets the game has seen in such a very long time. So if you want to know what cards to pick up from this set, please check out this video where I go over my Paldea Evolved buy list, go over what exactly cards you should be buying, so you'll end up buying stupid stuff like Quackleval or Skeledirge. So you better click on it, and I'll see you in the next one.